The story begins soon after the creation of Pakistan in 1947. The country's founding father, Muhammad Ali Jinnah, was faced with a rather awkward fact. There were almost as many Muslims, if not more, in India than there were in this newly created country of Pakistan. So it is quite obvious that Jinnah was very conscious of this fact when he delivered his famous speech on the 11th of August 1947, clearly stating that religion has nothing to do with the business of the state. Just 2 years later, an objectives resolution was passed, which was supposed to be a summary of the final constitution. And just guess where a huge chunk of it came from. The work of a man who during the Pakistan movement had actually denounced Jinnah, the chief of Jamaat-e-Islami and an Islamic scholar, Abdul Allah Maududi. Contrary to common belief, he wasn't just another Islamic cleric. He was a well-read and prolific journalist and author. Not only did he challenge the Muslim nationalists of the likes of Jinnah, but he had also managed to offend many Deobandi and Barelvi scholars. So when the 1956 constitution changed the name Republic of Pakistan to Islamic Republic of Pakistan, it did not come as a surprise to many. In 1958, President Iskandar Mirza, who wasn't happy with the constitution, terming it as a selling of Islam for political ends, conspired with the military chief Ayub Khan and dismissed the assembly, and the country's first martial law was imposed. Just 20 days later, Mirza himself was dismissed by Ayub and forced to leave the country. In 1962, Ayub brought a new constitution that highlighted the regime's understanding of Pakistani nationhood to being a Muslim state where the modern and reformist spirit of Islam would guide the country's politics and society. The parties of the left, like the Awami National Party, opposed him on the basis of his policies with a capitalist outlook, and religious parties like Jamaat-e-Islami opposed him for his more liberal policies. Politics in Pakistan was already getting much complicated by the time Ayub transferred power to Yahya Khan in 1969. In the elections of 1970, Sheikh Mujibur Rahman of Awami League won the highest number of seats in East Pakistan, and the People's Party of Pakistan was the winner in the West. The delay in the handing of power to the Awami League saw the eruption of a full-scale war in East Pakistan. This war resulted in East Pakistan becoming the independent Republic of Bangladesh. In December 1971, the power was handed over to the elected Zulfikar Ali Bhutto's party, the Pakistan People Party. It was in 1972 that Pakistan studies became a compulsory subject in schools. Although the Bhutto regime was populist, socialist, and largely secular, in 1973 it managed to get a consensus from all parties to unveil a new constitution that reintroduced Pakistan as an Islamic republic. In 1976, a 9-party alliance of religious and anti-Bhutto secular parties united under the umbrella of the Pakistan National Alliance, or the PNA. In 1977, the Bhutto regime met the main religious leaders of the PNA belonging to JI, the Jamiat Ulma Islam and the Jamiat Ulma Pakistan, and agreed to make Friday the weekly holiday instead of Sunday. He also agreed to ban the consumption and sale of alcohol and close down all the nightclubs and bars. But this did not save him from receiving another shock. In July 1977, his own general toppled him and then arrested him, which led to a shameful trial of his hanging. Zia almost immediately got down to the business of radically transforming the ideological complexion of Pakistan, starting with the ban of any mention of Jinnah's famous speech of 11th August 1947. Soon, Jinnah's famous motto, Unity, Faith, Discipline, was changed to Faith, Unity, Discipline, placing faith before the others. Religion was the perfect kind of excuse for a dictator to flex his muscles at that time, especially in a country where the upper and middle classes who had traveled to oil-rich Arab countries had confused the power of the petrodollar with the power of the strands of faith. The greatest tragedy of Zia's policies was the birth of a mindset that refused to recognize the multi-ethnic and multi-sectarian makeup of the country, and instead offered a rather complex, stiff, and artificial understanding of the faith. This promoted an inelastic and an entirely narrow-minded strands of faith, pushing them from the fringes of society into the mainstream, and in the process retarding the natural evolution of Pakistan's multicultural character and society. It also offended various Muslim sects and subsects, creating serious sectarian tensions. In 1988, on a clear, bright day, a special VIP C-130 Hercules took off from Bahawalpur airport. 2 minutes later, it dove nose first into the desert, exploding in a ball of fire. In it, along with other top-rated Pakistani officials, was Ziaul Haq. No one survived. Soon, the general elections were held and Benazir Bhutto of PPP became the first woman Prime Minister in the history of Pakistan. Only 2 years later, President Ghulam Ishaq Khan dissolved the National Assembly, dismissing Bhutto's government on charges of alleged corruption and incompetence. Fresh elections were held and Nawaz Sharif was elected as the Prime Minister. You would think this time the democracy was finally restored. However, unfortunately, 3 years later, Sharif's government was dismissed for the same reasons: alleged corruption and incompetence. General elections were held. Benazir Bhutto was elected Prime Minister for her second term. Farooq Ligari, a member of the PPP, was elected as the country's president. Another 3 years went by and President Farooq Ligari dissolved the National Assembly, dismissing Benazir Bhutto's government, which was operating under a cloud of corruption allegations. General elections were held again. This was the fourth time such polls had taken place since 1988. Nawaz Sharif's PMLN party won in a landslide, and he was elected Prime Minister for the second time. 2 years later, his army chief, General Pervez Musharraf, took power in a coup, placing Nawaz Sharif and other political leaders under house arrest. Pakistan saw another long period of military dictatorship, which finally came to an end when general elections were held in 2008, with Yusuf Raza Gilani elected Prime Minister and Asif Ali Zardari, Bhutto's widower and now co-chairman of the PPP, replacing Musharraf as president. In 2013, the PPP-led coalition government became Pakistan's first democratically elected civilian-led government to complete its 5-year term in office. A caretaker government was appointed and a general election was set for the 11th of May. Ever since I was a kid, I have heard my dad saying this country is going through critical times. He heard the same thing from his dad, and his dad heard the same words from his. I just have one wish on my mind. I wish I'll be able to tell my kids something else, that this country is on its way towards stability and development. I wish I can tell them that they should be proud of being the citizens of a developed nation and be genuine, proud Pakistanis.